The old amusement park. In the outskirts of a quiet, forgotten town lay an old amusement park, long abandoned and left to decay. Once a vibrant place of laughter and joy, the park had been deserted for decades, its rides rusting and its lights flickering out. The town's children spoke of it in hushed whispers, their tales of eerie happenings and strange noises leaving an unsettling impression on those who dared to listen. Tom Mitchell was a local historian, fascinated by the town's history and the stories that surrounded it. When he heard about the abandoned amusement park, his curiosity got the better of him. He decided to investigate, hoping to uncover the secrets behind the park's eerie reputation. The day Tom arrived at the park, the sky was overcast, casting a gray pallor over the landscape. The entrance, once grand and inviting, was now overgrown with weeds and tangled vines. The wrought iron gates creaked ominously as he pushed them open, and a shiver ran down his spine. The park was eerily silent, save for the occasional rustle of wind through the dilapidated structures. Tom's footsteps echoed through the empty park as he made his way to the central area. The Ferris wheel, now a rusting skeleton of its former self, loomed overhead. The once bright colors of the rides were faded and peeling, and the air was heavy with the smell of mildew and decay. Despite the decay, something felt strangely alive about the place. As Tom approached the carousel, he noticed that it was different from the rest of the rides. The carousel's horses, though covered in dust, seemed oddly pristine. The once jubilant music, long thought to have stopped, played faintly in the distance, a haunting melody that seemed to beckon him closer. Tom was taken aback when he saw the carousel begin to spin slowly on its own. The horses moved with a jerky, unnatural motion, their painted eyes seeming to follow him as he moved. A chill ran down his spine as he approached the carousel, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. He reached out to touch one of the horses, but as his fingers brushed against its surface, the carousel abruptly stopped. The music ceased, and an eerie silence enveloped the park. Tom pulled his hand back, feeling a sudden, inexplicable coldness. Determined to uncover the truth, Tom continued his exploration. He ventured into the park's old funhouse, its mirrors cracked and warped. The distorted reflections seemed to move of their own accord, twisting and turning as if alive. Tom felt a creeping sense of unease as he navigated the maze of mirrors, his footsteps echoing eerily through the funhouse. In one of the rooms, Tom discovered a series of old photographs pinned to the wall. The photos depicted children and families enjoying the park, their faces frozen in moments of joy. But as he examined the photos more closely, he noticed something unsettling. The eyes of the people in the photographs seemed to follow him. It was as if they were watching him with a mixture of curiosity and malevolence. Tom's unease grew as he continued through the park. The once colorful game booths and concession stands were now nothing more than rotting structures, their signs faded and broken. The laughter of children, once a distant memory, seemed to echo through the empty park, growing louder and more insistent. It was then that Tom noticed something peculiar. The rides were starting to move on their own. The bumper cars jerked and twitched, the Ferris wheel creaked and groaned as if struggling to turn, and the carousel began to spin again, its music playing a haunting, distorted melody. The park seemed to come alive around him, its machinery and rides operating as if guided by an unseen force. Tom's heart raced as he realized that something was deeply wrong. The sense of being watched grew stronger, and the laughter he had heard earlier turned into eerie whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. In a panic, Tom fled from the funhouse, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He ran through the park, desperately searching for an exit, but the park seemed to stretch endlessly, its paths twisting and turning in ways that defied logic. As Tom approached the park's entrance, he saw the gate swing shut on its own. The once familiar path to the outside was now blocked, and the park seemed to have trapped him inside. The rides continued their eerie dance, the lights flickering on and off in a strobe-like pattern that made Tom's head spin. With nowhere else to turn, Tom found himself drawn back to the carousel. The horses on the carousel seemed to beckon him, their painted eyes now glowing with an unnatural light. The music played louder, a discordant melody that seemed to pulse with a dark energy. Tom was overcome by a sense of dread as he realized that the park was not just a place of decay and abandonment, it was a place of malevolent energy. The rides and structures seemed to be alive, driven by a dark force that sought to trap and torment anyone who entered. Desperate to escape, Tom reached out to grab one of the horses, hoping to somehow stop the madness. But as he touched the horse, he was engulfed by a wave of darkness. The carousel spun faster and faster, its music reaching a deafening crescendo. Tom felt himself being pulled into the carousel, the world around him twisting and distorting. Suddenly, everything went dark. When Tom awoke, he was lying on the ground outside the park. The sky was clear, and the sun was shining brightly. The park was silent, its rides still and motionless. The gate stood open, as if inviting him to leave. Tom stumbled to his feet, his body trembling with fear and exhaustion. He looked back at the park, but it was as if it had never existed. The rides were gone, and the once abandoned area was now nothing more than an empty field. Tom never spoke of his experience to anyone. The town's children continued to whisper about the old amusement park, their tales growing more terrifying with each retelling. The park became a legend, a place of dark whispers and haunting memories. As for Tom, he carried the experience with him, a chilling reminder of the night he had ventured into the old amusement park and had come face to face with something beyond understanding. The rides that ran by themselves, the laughter that turned to whispers, and the malevolent energy that lurked in the shadows remained etched in his mind, a haunting legacy of the night the park had come alive. And though the park was gone, its legend lived on, a dark and eerie tale of an abandoned amusement park where the rides ran by themselves, and the memories of those who entered never truly faded away.